From the center of the galaxy, live on a Tuesday. We know it's weird. This is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars pop culture and the old adventure, life itself. I'm Ken Napsa.
I'm Justice Grimshaw, and I'm confused about what day it is, too. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on a Tuesday. This is my fault, because I was flying home from a film festival yesterday, and now we get to do all of our normal Monday things on a Tuesday.
Yeah. How dare you do that there? So we're here live. You can all hear me, right? I am getting a little bit of a warning on my end, Joseph. My end's having a data issue. But as long as you all can hear and see me, we're fine. We're fine. I am love. You know, you and I were talking off air. We try to keep our potty mouths clean, but the shitification of everything is a problem.
It really is. It really is. Maybe it's not a good tactical idea to have everything owned by 15 midlife crisis billionaires.
Maybe not. Anyway, we're here to talk Star Wars news. We have got a little bit of, a big bit. Harrison Ford receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from SAG-AFTRA at a speech that a lot of people talking. And also we're going to dive in a little bit in a ForceCenter way to a Variety article that came out that had a lot going on, but in it kind of, put a little bit of the Mando is not supported by Disney executive narrative. And we want to dive into it in a little bit here. But before we do all that, we're going to let you know that our podcast is brought to you by our shop on Fourth Wall, our merch shop there. Check out our merch store. Pick up a T-shirt to help support the show. Represent ForceCenter out in the wild. Check the items there. If there's something you want that we can maybe create, let us know. If you're watching on YouTube, can find the link in the description. While you're there, also subscribe, like, leave a comment, all those good things to please those 15-year-old and 15 middle-aged men who own everything. But also, you can find the link at forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com, forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com. Joseph, we're also highlighting Patreon today.
That is right. If you want to help us keep going and keep growing, you can become a patron on Patreon. It gets you access to our Discord where you can have fun and friendly chats with other Star Wars fans. We've got our questions show going again, so you can ask questions, all sorts of advantages there, and it really does help us keep going. So thank you for everyone there for the support.
For the support, indeed. Lovely. As for those who may have missed the announcement, Jennifer Landa, as always, sends her regards. She is out for the month of March, at least, dealing with just wonderful life adventures, higher education, her future, her children, and their future. So she is out, and as always, we will look forward to her return. Joseph, a chance for us to catch up with some life adventures. Our first show back this week. You mentioned your film festival. I had a positive experience in a bar, so let's share it all. But you first, because you had a really big and important weekend, and we're really proud of you here for what you were able to pull off this weekend.
Well, thank you. So the horror film that I've been working on, we had a premiere in Minneapolis last October, but this weekend was its first film festival screening, and it was at a festival called Nevermore Film Festival in Durham, North Carolina. A great old theater, and 2 screenings. The audience was really engaged, got to do an intro, got to do a Q&A afterwards, and it's really fun to do a Q&A after your film because you can really tell what people are thinking about and paying attention to and wondering about and kind of engaged with. And people asked really fun questions and really smart questions, so that was really, really gratifying. I want to give a special shout out to a ForceCenter friend, Ryan Cooper, who came to the show, and we had a nice chat afterwards. And he had a lot of nice things to say about how great this ForceCenter community is for him. That not a lot of people have talked with about Star Wars about in real life, not real life, but in day-to-day life in his community. So it really valued this community. So huge thanks to Ryan for the kind words and for stopping to chat with me after the screening. I also had some slightly annoying Star Wars bar conversations, but I think I handled them pretty well. My other adventure was I went past a movie theater in Durham, North Carolina, which I found just all of Durham beautiful. But they had one of those big old Mando and Grogu signs, just like a huge lobby display thing. And it made me really excited for the film and, the fun comedy of and Grogu as himself right there on the big lobby display. So it got me real excited.
Oh, lovely time, lovely experience. Lo, happy for you out there. Yeah, many more to come. Not necessarily film festivals, but just screenings, showings, the world taking in your art. That's what's on the horizon there.
There will be more film festivals, and there will be more screenings, and working away behind the scenes here on getting the film out to the world.
There you are. Well, you mentioned bar conversations, which is this phrase that comes up a lot around here in ForceCenter. I apologize for that. We have a discussion coming out. We recorded. It's coming out Wednesday. Some great questions from Will Culbertson, Adam Knight, and Adam asked a great question that turned into you and I discussing Grey Jedi, bars, yelling at people, defending Star Wars. So I say that because that's coming. But I had, Joseph, a wonderful experience in a bar talking about Star Wars with two people I had just met. And I was so blown away. I didn't know what to do at first. I attended David Lynch art show, which I sent you some pictures because you needed to be there, but you had more important things to do. But it was great. And I went with, Ken may be a little smitten with someone, and he was maybe a night out. That's all I'll say. And it was a great time. And then she said, "Hey, I got some friends. I'd like you to meet these friends." I was like, "This is great. This is friends. Great. I love new friends." And then we went to a bar afterwards to have some snacks, have some drinks. And the question comes up, Joseph. So what is it you do? And I, but Star Wars podcast comes out, and these are people who are definitely, I'd say, in the nerdy realm. Won't reveal who they are yet. One's a voice actor of noted, and I don't want to pull them into the conversation yet. And I just a Star Wars podcast. Oh, a Star Wars podcast, and you know that feeling, Joseph. You know this moment. It's the heartburn starts bubbling up. I get a little itchy. Here comes the fight. Or here comes the awkward thing where I have to kind of, you're absolutely right. Kathleen Kennedy is a monster, which I wouldn't do, but just like give you.
Yeah.
And I give the Star Wars thing. I say the best example, and you and I've talked about this, is we did this 2-hour episode on Dexter Jetster and the Dexter Diner scene being the most important scene in the prequels. Joseph, these two folks, a couple of engaged fiancés, they both go like this, and they grab onto each other, and they look at each other, and they look back at me, and then they both kind of in unison go, "Dexter Jetster is our second favorite Star Wars character." And I was like, "Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah." So then we talked about Dexter Jetster and that scene for 20 minutes. Then we talked about Attack of the Clones and how they're like, "Yeah, we get some of the things about it, but it's a film noir. It's great." I was like, "Oh my God, you have found a home with ForceCenter. You should gotta listen to what we do." And then Joseph, they said, "Yeah, we love Andor. We love this." They go, "Hey, we love the Book of Boba Fett too." I fell in love with them both. I was like, "Oh my God!" And we had a great conversation that included some of the moments of Book of Boba Fett, some of the dialogue, some performances are a little tight. Yeah. But they were just like, but episode 2 was breathtaking. The stuff they covered was wonderful and warm. And also, there was Boba Fett rode a goddamn Rancor to fight a kaiju, a robotic guy. What more do we want? And I just wanted to share that because it doesn't mean bad conversations aren't going to come, or that debates or discussions about Star Wars are inherently a bad thing. But just after complaining about it a lot, it was so wonderful to truly have a great Star Wars bar conversation. So thank you.
Yeah. That is fantastic. I have two important thoughts. One is just like, I think it is just so important to be like, it's fine for people to like different parts of Star Wars, but like, can we work on as a culture leading with, hey, we both like this thing. Let's talk about something we like for a second before the litany of things. I love it.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's just culturally like, hey, are you married? Yeah. Let's both say 8 things we effing hate about our partner. Like maybe start with love. Maybe start with love. If this conversation is about love, maybe start with love.
Yeah.
I love that
great.
In this story, Dexter Jetster is the second favorite character. And in my current headcanon, that means their first favorite character is Pong Krell. Is that true?
No. You know, it's funny. I don't even know the answer. Well, I know one of the answers because they are two individuals in a relationship. They collectively loved Dexter. Lando is Frank is his name. It's his favorite. Right. And I'm trying to get him on ForceCenter to talk about Lando. He loves Lando, but then Dexter. Lando and Dexter, the 1 and 2.
Amazing, amazing. I would happily hang out with them. I would just say Lando and Dexter Jester, but your friends too. I would hang out with them at a bar as well as the fictional characters.
That's good. That's good. So it was a good time all around this weekend. Happy Star Wars adventures, happy life adventures. Let's get to some Star Wars news. Joseph will kind of get us in here, only because you were traveling, so I pulled some of the news, but we'll go anywhere we need to go with the conversation. As many people saw on Sunday, Harrison Ford received a Lifetime Achievement Award from SAG-AFTRA at the SAG-AFTRA Awards. He gave a wonderful speech that moved and inspired a lot of folks, and it included heartfelt thanks to George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Joseph, you may have not had a chance to watch it live, or maybe you were stuck in a hotel room and you did. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you.
I did not watch it live, but I saw it pop up on social media, and I did watch it.
Yeah, I watched it later, watched it in clips. I did get a text from our friend Alden Diaz, who was watching it live, and just it was very emotional and moved by it. So I'll start with this question. As Gen Xers, we are raised smack dab in the middle of Ford's heyday, maybe even a little bit, you'd say, Ford's rise to his heyday. How does this moment make us feel overall?
Oh, there is a little bit of, certainly, the reality of age, that Harrison Ford is, getting this Lifetime Achievement Award, and he is certainly up there. He's still working. I loved his joke about it's weird to get this Lifetime Achievement Award halfway through my career. Very funny, but sort of very bittersweet in that, like, I think that man would act until he was nothing but android parts, if he could. So there is a reality of, wait a minute, if Harrison Ford is that old, then I'm not 22, is
right.
A little bit in there. But more than anything, it is just, I don't know, Harrison Ford my dad loves Harrison Ford. And I think there's something about all of his roles that has a little bit of a dad quality, that sort of like, he's this vision of masculinity that is also loving and vulnerable in many of his roles. And he's also this sort of presence that I think we need sometimes, where he's obsessed with art, but he's also very, very pro working class. And a lot of his roles have this sort of like certainty, this moral clarity of, let's cut the bullshit. There's right and wrong here, kid. There's so much about his collected work and his own vibe. That is this sort of, I wish we could all have a dad like this sort of image of Harrison Ford. And there's something really touching about feeling like dad's getting toward the end and he's getting his flowers.
Yeah. A lot of realities in here. And that's definitely part of my reaction too, is, we will not, hopefully not soon, but we will start losing some of, even more of the names. In fact, the in memoriam I saw from the SAG-AFTRA event, it's some like Catherine O'Hara, Diane Keaton, and these names where you're just like, nah, that's a talented performer still at their peak, and I'm still 14. Like, what are you talking about? And it is that, and Harrison still looks great, but he's in his 80s, and I think it's to celebrate, and it was a fun thing to reflect. It's a lifetime achievement for him being alive, as he wonderfully joked, but just to look back on the journey we've all been through. I think there's some important moments that I mentioned a while ago, a couple years ago now, because holy crap, time flies. But like a couple years ago, I went and saw Liz Phair's 30th anniversary performance of Exxon Guyville, and you could just write a lot of it off as nostalgia. But the vibe, the energy of the Will Turn packed show for this Liz Phair song by song playing of this seminal album was this celebration of the journey, and she actually addressed it to a point where we're all, as an audience, collectively moved almost to tears. They're just like, I wrote these songs in my room and this and that, but here we are all 30 years later, and we've all been through this, and we've all survived. We're all here, and we should take solace, comfort, and inspiration in that. There was something for me personally about watching Harrison here in the twilight. That's a reality, but something about his journey, my journey, from Han Solo guy, indie fan, to now, just like it's okay to mark the time. And he was one of the people that helped me mark it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to say it.
Any highlights from the speech that spoke to you? I think we've already mentioned a couple, but he's also so goddamn funny. Always has been. And there was that point, and maybe he played into it where he was a grumpy Harrison, I think there's some truth to that, but I think he's always been funny. He's addressed some of the anxiety, some of the things he's dealt with over the years that maybe weren't as prevalent, because you wouldn't think a big action star would feel anxious in a room or anything like that. But I love that he is definitely funny now. Anything from the speech beyond that or with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, I think I had a weird moment at the very top when Woody Harrelson was introducing him as an old friend, and I was like, yeah, of course they worked together on Solo. No, that's not how that works.
That's funny.
Harrison Ford was not in the film Solo. It's like, yeah, isn't it amazing? He played his men. Like, oh, okay. The thank you, George Lucas. That was the thing that I saw people posting about. It's like, oh, I really want to see this speech. And, you know, his evolution from everybody kind of knowing him as the grump who kind of doesn't want to talk about Star Wars, the space movie, to him really embracing it and being honest about his challenges with it. But for him just to say, thank you, George Lucas, thank you, Steven Spielberg, and just really, it fits so much with the clarity of what he wanted to communicate of, I am lucky to have had this career that means so much to me, and to be in this community of storytellers that mean so much to me. And I couldn't have done that without George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I think just that the clarity and simplicity of thank you, George Lucas, really did hit me after the kind of roller coaster that we've been on with our Harrison Ford jokes over the years about wanting to be killed off, grumpy about it, then returning, and then just being so present over the last decade of really honest with his emotions and really celebratory, and going to see Solo, you know, 2 times in the theater and congratulating Alden Ehrenreich, and just that whole journey with it.
I'm actually right there with you. That other than the jokes and you know, some wonderful heartfelt moments, I think the George and Stephen thing was more than just a tip of the cap to characters and movies we love. I feel what you're saying about the character of Harrison, about the lore, about the myth, but also the story he told. You mentioned up top with how he connects to your father of a working class guy who became a very successful top of the bill movie star. But I love the reminder of, you know, for 15 years, I struggled acting, carpentry. He's in his early 30s when you know, American Graffiti into A New Hope hits, but A New Hope is the thing, as you and I always like to say. Now I could get to work, says Harrison in the Empire of Dreams doc. To have him pause for the moment and not just say, hey, yeah, Star Wars was cool, Indy was cool, but to acknowledge that, like, it wasn't easy. It's never easy. And I put that number over my own life right now. 15 years going back, you know, I was still in a life that I thought I was trapped in. My career wasn't where I wanted to be. It's still, I needed or wanted to be in a farther spot. And it just puts some perspective in my own life. It was inspirational for even me, beyond just and George, thank you. And Stephen, thank you. And I really felt everything about that moment.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And he also, I think, threaded through the entire speech was this sort of this great contrast that we don't always see of really combining the spiraling heights of art with the grounded. It's a job, you know, in him continuing to be like one of the biggest stars on the planet for decades. And also just being incredibly having a working class value and ethos about it. I really liked what he said of sometimes we make art, sometimes we make entertainment. If we're lucky, we make both at the same time. And if we're really fortunate, we also get to make a living doing it. That he acknowledged being in a room with, you know, accomplished actors who are up for awards. But that sentence is about, like, are you doing community theater and now you're starting to find your first paying job? Like, you want to be an actor to tell stories. You want to be an actor to entertain people. You want to be an actor to create art and make people feel something deeply. And you deserve to make a living, because the spiraling heights of art are real and valid, and the value of fair pay for a hard day's work, those both matter. How much that whole speech was almost just like sort of an argument for these two things, the height of art and the reality of fair pay for a hard day's work. They are not divided, they are connected. was really powerful to me.
No, great way to look at it there. A lot of wonderful moments there. We also, we do it a lot here. We talk about Han Solo. We talk about Indiana Jones. You can check out that series on our Patreon page as well, right? And we put those out. Did we put those out eventually? I can't remember. Life is fun. But, check out our deep dive into Indiana Jones. We talk about those moments. I did want to take a moment here as we continue the discussion, just to talk about any other roles or aspects of Harrison Ford himself that we want to celebrate. And, it's always a chance to reference flying and crashing planes into golf courses.
I forgot about how much that is like. You hear a loud, for a while there in LA, there was a joke of you hear a loud noise and people be like, did Harrison Ford land? Like, he was constantly crashing them planes.
Yeah.
I've acknowledged in the comments, I think Neil Hanstock here, Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Rick Deckard. Most actors are lucky to get one great series in a lifetime. I think that is one thing about his career is like, he's three icons, and Deckard might not be as big, but like that's right. Blade Runner is an important movie, and there might be divided opinions, but I think that sequel is great, and he had a desire to return to all those roles. And I made jokes on social media about like, Harrison Ford, it has, some weird curse where he is not allowed to rest until he makes Frantic 2, Witness 7, or he can never rest. But to me, it was, he desired to revisit those roles for art. He wasn't like, I got to replace my plane, so I guess I'll do a Blade Runner. He was so invested in the arc of those characters and what they're feeling in that. So that's a Harrison Ford thing I really like. I will give a shout out to a recent film that he was in that did not have a good go of it, and that's Captain America: Brave New World. In my opinion, if people haven't seen it and you're a Harrison Ford fan, just go watch a Harrison Ford movie. Don't worry about the Captain America of it, the MCU of it. Just watch a really great Harrison Ford performance. In my opinion, that film is a mixed bag, in my personal opinion. But all the conversation about it has kind of not addressed Harrison Ford's performance, which is fantastic and very Star Wars related, what this character is going through. And I think I haven't seen a film in recent times be so horribly hamstrung by its own marketing that the posters and everything kind of promise something that is different than what the film is. But what the film is Harrison Ford taking this character on an amazing journey about anger and grief and the responsibility of power and all of these big ideas. And he just, what a great, everybody kind of made fun of like, oh, Harrison Ford's going to be a Hulk. Wouldn't 90s Harrison Ford mock this? Like, no, he found the art in it. So I'd encourage people to check it out just as a Harrison Ford movie.
Great choices. If you got any in chat, that you want to celebrate, just roles or moments, share it here. Laserbolt talking about Bob Falfa and American Graffiti, saying he's a man. And then Eli wants to mention President James Marshall. President James Marshall, get off my plane. I agree with that. Yeah, for me, this is so, I was on the film school track in the mid 90s before I got distracted by radio, studying film, screenwriting, all that kind of stuff. So in the mid 90s, Harrison cemented by this point, and I like Clear and Present Danger. That sequence with the SUVs is one of the most tense things I've watched on screen. I love all that, and we had kind of put Harrison as Indy and Han Solo to bed in a way, right? Like he's not coming back. Star Wars ain't coming back. Like, they're doing new ones, but it's not. Yeah, so definitely Harrison's not coming back. So it was a different kind of vibe. But I continue to kind of learn from him, and it's not. I don't think it's well regarded. I don't think it's well remembered. But I am such a fan of the 1995 remake of Sabrina with Harrison Ford. I'm such a fan of it. And I have a heart on my sleeve kind of approach to love and life anyway, sometimes, even though I sometimes feel like I'm the curmudgeon version of Harrison later on. or Han Solo, but I was so in on Harrison as a curmudgeon turned softy. That's all I'll say. And again, not here to defend the film. I haven't watched it in years. I had the poster up my wall. Julie Armand, Greg Kinnear, Harrison Ford. It is such a mid-90s film, such a mid-90s time. But I was just like, I really, he's got a different side that I grew up with. Or at least I'm seeing it here for the first time. We also spent a lot of time in that my screenwriting class studying witness. And that helped me see Harrison as an actor as opposed to two characters that I loved. And then there's something about, I wanted to celebrate his who he is. We make the plane jokes. And I've talked about this before, and I think I got clarification, but putting it on record for the ForceCenter fans here, like growing up in the Central Coast of California, a place called Arroyo Grande in Pismo Beach, California, there was for a long time in the early to mid 90s. I moved out of there in 98. There was around that time this like Harrison Ford lives here vibe, or at least has something up here. And there was rumors of that's his house, and I had people who had seen him and Callista Flockhart. This is by the time they were together. They had seen them having breakfast at Scrambles and Shell Beach, like all this stuff. And then, then there was a rumor that Mark Hamill had moved up, and it was like all of Star Wars is going to live in our hometown. And so years later, I got to clarify. Number one, when you and I and everyone, we all kind of became friendly with Nathan Hamill, I said, "Hey, let me ask you a question. Did your pops ever move up here or move with my hometown?" He's like, "What? No. What are you talking about?" No. And I said, "Do you ever know if Harrison lived up there?" And I don't know. What I found out in 2019, I was at an event to support my book, and Sarah Risley, a listener of ForceCenter, set up a film festival, a film viewing of New Hope up there, and I was up there, blah, blah, blah. We took Q&As after, and I mentioned this story, and someone stood up and was like, "I know the answer." I was like, "What?" He's like, "He never lived here, but he used to always come up here. I knew from the airport. He would fly up here, and he'd have breakfast here." And there was something about that story that connects to, well, Harrison was a carpenter. Well, and I loved that. For me, this movie star that influenced me, and I grew up idolizing in some ways, or just enjoying. Idolizing can be dangerous, but I enjoyed and consider him an influence in some ways, and influenced by old Han. This is 2019, and I just was like, what a full life. What a good use of life. And then you hear some of the stories he's done. Yeah, he helped rescue someone with a plane. Like he did. And it just kind of reminded me that sometimes we are both sides of the page, and we should strive to be both sides of the page. That's something I will always take from Harrison Ford.
That's fantastic. People are sharing lots of great things. The Fugitive was one of my favorite films of the 90s, says Matthew Stokes. I need to rewatch that film. I remember seeing it and enjoying the hell out of it and feeling like I saw a slightly different Harrison Ford. One other Harrison Ford story that has always stuck with me, and I think he's told it a lot of different places. I think I saw it on the Tonight Show maybe back in the day. But, he's such a good storyteller. He obviously means that in this speech as an actor, but like literally sit down at a campfire and tell you a story. Like, all right, kid. But he tells a story about one of his very early roles, maybe his first film role, where he's, being given a chance to just like play a waiter in the background. And I can't remember, some executive tells him afterwards that he's garbage, that he, the film executive, knows real talent when he sees it. And he's like, you were up there on the screen and it was clear you were not a legend. And Harrison Ford's retort is like, really? Because I thought I was supposed to be a waiter. It's just such a funny, great zing Harrison Ford story. But I think embedded in that is his, I am here for the art. I am here for the craft. And I have no time for the bullshit, the gatekeeping, the petty games of the industry. You hire me to be a waiter, I'm going to be a waiter. And if you want me to play games and pretend that I'm some big man, that's your sad life, sad executive.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about. This is me embodying the character, embodying the art. So it's got, that story kind of has the heart of Harrison Ford in it to me, and also a little bit of like, and yeah, that executive's not winning any awards today. The guy who played a waiter is,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Absolutely love that. That's wonderful. So there you go. You all are sharing Apocalypse now. Neil's talking about that. General Cameroni says Harrison was Bigfoot too. Yeah, yeah. It kind of there was for like 92, 93. I don't know. It was like it was not just like my friends. You'd hear other things like I saw Harrison Ford at Scrambles. Like the greatest sentence you'll ever hear in your life. It just he is a legend. There you go. Any final thoughts, sir? Yes.
I just want to throw this up from Ayaja, who says Harrison Ford is the first ever crush I had. He made me realize I like men, which I think is also like not a thing to forget that Mr. Ford has been an awakening for many people.
Yes.
I have friends of all kinds who say yes, his vision of reliable, steady masculinity that is also vulnerable is hugely important to my sexual awakenings. And I think
Hodges says the Ford awakens.
Hodges says the Ford awakens.
It's amazing.
Good one.
Yeah, and and talking a little bit, we've talked a lot about Han and Indy, but like I am one of the ones that is all in on the idea of Indiana Jones is just making it up as he goes along, and just this kind of vulnerable, imperfect action star. I think that was one of the things that pulled me in without even I'm fully didn't realize it as a kid. His heroic actions come from his heart, not necessarily all of his skills, though he is very skilled. So that's something I love about the Indiana Jones character.
Yep. The mileage.
The mileage. Yeah.
The mileage. Absolutely. And he's got it in real life.
Real life indeed. So there we go. We salute you, Harrison Ford. Still much more. I got to catch up on. I got to start shrinking. I have been on the play button many times and just thought, I got to go handle. So I can't watch a show right now. So I'm going to correct that because I hear nothing but great things about shrinking, but also Harrison in the performance.
Yeah, me too. Very excited for it.
All right, let's get to this. Variety put out this report on Disney, and it kind of creates it was the headlines. Some of it, understandably, I get it, were pulled out that Disney execs maybe having a lack of confidence in the Mandalorian and Grogu. So, like I said, in an article that covers the recent CEO change at Disney, looks closer at Josh D'Amaro. A small section claimed that small section of the article claimed that, quote, insiders feel more confident in Star Wars Starfighter than the Mandalorian and Grogu. As I said, this was spun out into some headlines. I'm just going to read the section, Joseph, and we're just going to take our reaction. For me, this is more about talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu, but Starfighter might come up as well. Internally, there are concerns that an unconventional 36-second Super Bowl spot for the Mandalorian and Grogu that featured the title characters riding a wagon pulled by tauntauns failed to generate the kind of excitement the marketing team was hoping to spark. The film itself is something of a question mark, given that it's based on a streaming series and consequently may not seem like a big screen proposition for any but the most diehard Baby Yoda lovers. There's a sense that Star Wars Starfighter, a spin-off from Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, is more likely to satisfy fans when it hits theaters next spring, with sources who have seen footage praising Ryan Gosling's performance and suggesting Levy has, quote, recaptured the franchise's spirit of fun. There's a lot in there, but Joseph, what is your gut reaction? Where do you want to go with that?
I think my gut reaction is not surprising that an entertainment, a big trade paper entertainment report about everything going on at Disney would manage to find some people who have this insight inside Disney. Right. This is definitely filed under least surprising news that one could hear. I kind of feel like you got some questions for it, and we're going to go there, so I won't get into it. Of like, from a certain point of view, Mandalorian and Grogu is well, duh, why wouldn't you make that? And from other points of view, Mandalorian and Grogu is like, ooh, but it also has these risks attached to it. So I'm not surprised at all that during this transition time, there'd be people inside Disney who are like focusing on the risk of Mando and Grogu and the alleged benefit. And I continue to think that the way that I'm glad they're promoting Mando and Grogu now, but letting an article come out that the focus, the thrust of it is Starfighter is the upcoming savior of Star Wars. I think if Disney really wanted to crush that thrust of the article that they could have made an effort to do it, and it feels like it does feel weird to me as a fan to say the movie after this is the one that's going to revitalize and save Star Wars. I think that article was hard for me because I think it did throw Mando and Grogu under the bus a little bit, and maybe Disney couldn't contain it. Maybe they didn't want to contain it, but that does sit weirdly with me.
Yeah, no, I think I understand it. I think there is absolutely some truth and things I would if I was in a meeting too, we'd be like, yeah. We don't know. Mandalorian and Grogu is from a streaming series. Those aren't as popular as you might think, though. Some people put it in chat. Hodges says, Baby Yoda's known globally. The movie feels like he's christening him, Grogu, to be to the world. I think there's some truth to that, but I not defending people in stiff suits in the C-suite up there, but like I understand we have a big change. We're looking at the future. We got some things lined up. This seems to be one of the last things that I would say is from the Uncle Bob era. Sometimes that can, it's like coaches taking over a team. Do we want that quarterback or not? Or do we want our quarterback? Now, Starfighter was before then. This is about Disney, not Lucasfilm. I took from this article, too, of just like, it seems like Lucasfilm was like, hey, we got an idea. We got artists. We got creators working on this 36-second spot. We're going to do this. And then other people would be like, well, where's the trailer? Which we dealt with that. We have folks that would probably still tell you the trailer was a smarter idea. Jen would probably tell you that too as well. I think that will be debated for the time. I think it was a good idea. I think it was less of a worry with the trailer coming out a week later. All that to say, but does that make sense of just like this? Like you, it's not surprising, and I think there is the shade angle, but also like, yeah, if you're looking at your stocks in one hand and your slate of films in the other. That's why they're doing Starfighter this way. Levy, Gosling, A+, big hit, 4 quadrants. Like that's how you kind of view art. So I'm not surprised by any of this, but I continue to be frustrated by outlets like this, just sometimes batting around Star Wars like it's a ball of twine and they're an angry cat, without accounting for some of the truth behind those headlines of how these movies affect people or the money they made and all that stuff. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think some of it is sort of positioned from this sort of like, well, there are safe ways to do things and dangerous ways to do things. And like, they're doing it dangerous way. And like, you have to go back to like almost every giant hit that we know that has fundamentally changed culture. Nobody knew was coming. It was going to be a big hit,
Yes. Totally.
I was just reading a book on the history of the Scream films, and that was talking about how much it was like nobody knew it was going to be a film that changed horror forever,
Right.
And so like the Super Bowl commercial it was a fun swing, and it'll be a good test of right now is all press good press because it's conflicted. Some people loved it. Some people in Europe didn't get it. Other people did. And last week when I was trying to be respectful and say a lot of people in Europe didn't get it, then we got YouTube comments of like, I'm from Europe and I got it. I know what Budweiser is. I've seen a Clydesdale before. So like, even I can't. So I'm trying to be respectful about it, and I stick my tauntaun foot in my mouth. It's a lightning rod, and so it'll be a good test of, does a lightning rod help sell a film these days, or does it even matter at all?
Yeah. No. Some of the more specific thoughts we can have here is what do we feel the Mandalorian Grogu has working against it? There is kind of this narrative that's not even from C-suite executives, that there are those folks. We had talk about positive bar experiences, but you can have those conversations of who asked for this, or it's just going to be a big episode of TV. That's just out there on the streets. That's working against it. But what else do you feel might be working against it?
I think the accusation of repetition. I think that Grogu in Din Djarin are 6 years old, which from our perspective as longtime Star Wars fans is they're still the shiny new hot kids on the block. But from the perspective of like how fast general pop culture moves, like are they going to the well because Grogu was a big hit 6 years ago, that they're just going back to the well and just dangling toys of like, oh, whichever, people wanted to buy toys of this guy, so now we got to watch him in the theater. I think that kind of accusation is going to be against
Mhm.
it. And I think the bigger one is the and I'm not saying I agree with this. I want to be really clear about that. The accusation of homework. There was such
Mhm.
excitement when Disney Plus launched, and like, okay, we can now tell even more of these stories from Marvel and Star Wars. But the Marvel films that built out of the Disney Plus shows really got dinged for it. And
Yeah.
so I think a film that carries the easy accusation of you have to watch 3 to 4 seasons of television to get this movie is working against it.
Yeah. That tracks as well. Yeah. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that. I rarely agree with that. The closest I might agree with that is Ahsoka, but even then I don't feel. But it's hard to separate our lifetime of loving and watching and understanding this from other folks.
But Ahsoka's the one that I feel like the strongest about personally, that
Right.
it needs to be like rated triple X when it comes to canon. But then we heard from people who like, my girlfriend never watched any Star Wars and she understood everything and loved it. So
Yeah.
clearly that's not
Yeah.
always the case. And I
Mhm.
trust Favreau to find a way to make sure that people get let in.
Yeah, and we got some great comments to want to bring up here too. But one of the
Yeah.
things when I ask, just even myself, well, what does this film have working against it? I think it's just the existence of it. It's just the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it exists is working against it in some folks' minds. I had one friend old friend, he's moved out of state. We don't talk as much anymore, but we were catching up on text, and he sent me a text. This text started with, "Is there really a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or is that just parody?" Like he was intentionally trying to be a little bit of a
Yeah.
jerkball, and it's like, yeah, it's real, man. And why wouldn't you want to give it a chance? Why you're not invested. I get it, but like, yeah, why wouldn't at some point you think these two characters that connected with so many people, streaming numbers and the actuality of streaming numbers aside, like I would think that's an okay thing. And why couldn't you find the story there?
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars has this reputation that I personally don't think is completely earned. I can get it from a surface thing of just out of ideas, rehashing old characters. Well, okay, they created new, as you said, and you already feel they're rehashing these characters who have not had a shelf life yet that is beyond 6 years. Like, so it's just that's against it, which is not fair to it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not fair.
You're making me think of something in General Cameroni is bringing this up too. It says, for some reason, a lot of people want the movie to fail. Like, what? I get it if you don't care, but why spend energy rooting against it? I have a theory.
Submit your theory, sir.
We've talked about this before, but I think, um, we all have a lot of legitimate things to be angry about. We all have a lot of anger, and when we post
Mm,
anger, we get people liking it and agreeing with it, and that feels good. Not just YouTube grifters who are doing it on purpose, but on Facebook.
mhm,
If you're just like, here's a thing
mhm,
today I saw that was dumb and I hate it. People thumbs up, agree. And Star Wars is one of those things that feels like to a lot of people like that there's no one to hurt. There's no real people. A mouse made this. John Favreau, one of the most successful, richest men ever, made this. My little Facebook post can't hurt him. So
mhm,
Star Wars is a place for my anger to go. And I
mhm,
think
mhm,
we have so much to be in pain and angry about that Star Wars just feels like this convenient punching bag, and it has been for a long time, but there's so much more anger. I have a friend, and I don't mean to out him. He's a great human being, and I admire him. But he's kind of a movie guy, and he's always been a movie guy, and he'll celebrate the things he loves, but then he'll get some clicks from bashing things he doesn't like. He posted a photo this weekend literally flipping off a movie poster. He went to see a movie and he didn't like it and posted a picture of himself flipping off a movie theater. And I kind of wanted to text him and go like, "You okay, dude?" And I'm sure he doesn't like the film and can probably make really cogent arguments about what he thinks doesn't work in the film. But it just felt to me like there's something there of just that, like the anger in society and where does it feel safe to go to a big Hollywood movie where you can't protect you can't hurt
mm,
anybody. Nobody needs to be protected.
mm.
Baby Yoda isn't real. He won't know that we flipped off the poster. Uh, I think I just we're sitting here kind of analyzing the real merits of it, and I think for some people it's just like, I need something to punch. I'm gonna punch that bleeping Baby Yoda movie.
I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, did I see that post this weekend? I did not see that post this weekend. Yeah. So comments in here too, and then we'll talk about some positive things around it here. Detective McCarcel, Mando and Grogu was either a risk or playing it too safe, depending on the weather. Yeah, depending on who you talk to. Yeah, that's true. That's dumb. Why are they doing that? Oh, so boring. Why are they doing that? Eli Ochi Fed saying, no one but the most diehard Baby Yoda fans. You mean the world? Yeah, there's, some truth to that. Will McClay, check it in. I feel like people are too much in their terminally online fandom bubble or underestimating the popularity of the Mandalorian and Grogu's characters. I think there's truth to that as well.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, David Aspo specifically saying, recapture the fun of Star Wars is the oddest part of that quote. Mando and Grogu looks to be nothing if not fun, which is true, because this is why we can't solve it here. We're just having a discussion about it, but like, yeah, you're like, wow, that looks fun. And then your friend will be like, dear God, it just looks fun. Like, oh, okay. And some of that I will say is in a post-Andor world, which is not a slight at Andor and not a slight at anyone who says they want mature Star Wars. I've kind of come around on that a bit of like, okay, maybe we can reach some fans there in that way. Because I absolutely loved Andor. But yeah, it's just like this odd kind of lamenting the spirit of joy that might be found in Star Wars for the project. Is weird to me.
Neil's coming in here with a thesis, please, as well. Neil Hanstock says, for those who don't like modern Star Wars, they're not happy unless you don't like it too. I just think Star Wars outgrew them and they can't take being left behind. I think that is really, really interesting to me, because I have had conversations where I've just said, I will listen to you vent about everything you don't like, and I'll say I understand some of your points, but I just don't agree. And I don't think it's all perfect, but I really like it. I've liked every show and every movie, and I'm not saying that for clicks or for money. It's true. I've liked, big picture, liked everything, and think they're all well made, even though they might have some flaws or some parts that aren't for me. People will not take the kumbaya, let's hold hands and agree to disagree. They will not take it. You're right, Neil. They want me to hate it, and they are mad that I don't hate it. And that does become like, well, this is no longer about me. Why do you need me to hate it? I just validated your hate and said, I respect your hate. Let's go get a hot dog together. And they're like, no, you must hate with me. Why?
It's true.
And why are we going to do it about bleeping Baby Yoda? You got to hate that cute little bleeper with me. It's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, no, and it's not to say that I believe film criticism and those that do it at a high professional level, maybe more of the legends in the past than those who are now. I think there's value to it. That's an art itself. I'm not one who tosses critics out or criticism out. But I was having a conversation with someone recently who does put up film reviews and scores, and they are usually harsh by their own admission. And they had said, well, I'm starting to change that because a lot of people are just getting really upset with me that I'm doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I think there's a push for joy, at least an understanding of art, or, hey, not for you. You don't need to be intentionally snarky, over the top. You don't need to try to own the art. Again, I get not every movie's perfect. I get all that. In that positive bar conversation I had that I mentioned top of the show, this had come up a bit, and he had said, he's like, I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy. I did not enjoy Rings of Power. I gave it 2 episodes and I bowed out, and I never talked about it again. I just went on living, and I was like, I love the series. Great, cool. Do you want another round? It was a great exchange. So let's have hope, Joseph, that can happen there.
I think so. I do think you've got a good question here. I do think there is hope for this film.
There is, yeah. That's a
yes.
And final note on this, and then we'll talk about what it does have working for it. Ihasha says the trailer has had 10 million views on Star Wars YouTube channel. I'm seeing so much fun of this movie already. The Zentellans and We Grogu are too funny. Let this movie breathe. Yeah, and I think that's something there. Yeah. We do have, let's see. The final question here that we'll take. We got some time for a little bit. We got a great question you pulled aside there, because I know it happened, but I'm unaware of it. Joseph, what do we feel that the Mandalorian and Grogu has working for it?
I actually think it has a lot working for it. I think it has Favreau's skills as a filmmaker. I think Favreau's understanding that, like, okay, I'm in kind of a pickle because I tried to bring television up to cinema level, and now everybody's going to accuse this cinema of being at the level of television. So what can I do to make it feel like, hey, it's worth expensive tickets in a weird popcorn bucket? I think he's a talented filmmaker, and I think he knows the challenges that are up against him. I think what it has going for it is it's Star Wars in a movie theater. And even though we're all sort of wounded and exhausted by the amount of negativity, there is a ton of positivity. I do see, kids with their parents covered in Grogu and Din Djarin merch, and they don't listen to YouTube shows about opening weekend box office. They just want to go see a Star Wars, and in a positive way. And I think we are forgetting how many people there are who do just want to be like, yeah, I got a life. I don't, I don't spend time fighting with folks at bars. I haven't read the Variety article about Josh D'Amaro. I like a Star Wars. I'm going to go see a Star Wars. Mando and Grogu are some of the most popular characters ever created in one of the most popular brands ever created, being written and directed by one of the best box office numbers filmmakers ever. There's a lot, a lot going for it that we forget. And I really, really think that Mando and Grogu will have a solid opening weekend, and everything will come back to just art. We talk a little bit on next week's show, or the next episode coming out on Wednesday, about will there be an opening crawling Mando and Grogu, and a thing that came up in that conversation that I feel strongly about is that this is a film about raising a child, something that a lot of people can relate to and have strong emotions about. And I kind of came up with the feeling of, hey, if this film makes parents cry early on, if this film hooks people of trying to bring up a young person to be a good person in a difficult world, if it hooks into those real emotions, it's golden. The opening weekend's going to be fine because it's a Star Wars, and then it's all going to be about the art.
Yeah, Detective McCross was saying it's crazy how people are so doubtful of Favreau's ability to make a movie. It's baffling. They'll yell at this movie's existence, and it's not going to work. It's going to be a big TV episode, and then they'll be like, "I'm going to go watch Elf for the 50th time." They don't make him like Iron Man anymore. Yeah. So again, look, things can go wrong. I get it, but I have a lot of faith in what he's doing. For me, the biggest thing that this movie has working for it is a bit of the ability to surprise. It's an underdog right now. And I'll pull in a little bit of my sports talk. Often the favored team wins. Often the team with the bigger payroll and the bigger names, often they wins. But a lot of times there's those great moments where those you did not expect are the winners. And it's not about winning and losing. I'm talking about this in terms of like, wow, what an amazing story. What a journey. What joy that caused me to watch these people, this group of athletes that were counted out. We all said they're gonna be the ones walking away sad, and they don't. There's a bit of an underdog tale to this movie right now with me. Yeah, you're right. I don't even know if it should exist. I don't know if it's supposed to be here today, but it is. It does. It has people behind it who understand these characters, who understand the themes that they're trying to put out in the world. I think you're right. I think it will connect with families. I think it will have a fun sense of adventure. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but there's a war on. And we're all pretty fucking dour. Sorry, dropping F-bombs here. I feel like I'm on my show. We're all feeling pretty down and out and worried and stressed. And art is still important. Entertainment is still important. And even though sometimes it seems like, should we even pay attention to this stuff with what's going on? We are still here. We're still alive. We still exist. And I think some people are going to sit down and be like, God, that made me feel things. And it took me on a fun adventure. And I think that's going to maybe help it carry the day a little bit. I'm not worried about week after box office, week 3 box office. Yeah, everyone's going to go see it once and then see it at home because we can't afford to go see a movie 15 times in the theater. We can't afford it. And it's going to be less affordable with a war on. So I'm saying the surprise is what's got it. What's it got in its back pocket?
I'm with you. I think that there is a good possibility that it's going to be the whoa, wow, it was good. Like we're seeing that with Wonder Man with MCU. There's been so much MCU anger and dislike and certainty that it is bad now. The Wonder Man discourse has all been, what? It was good? And I think we might get Mandalorian and Grogu. What? It was good? Because people are so certain to be lined up against it. Also, I think it is important that we focus on the real issue at hand, which is about onesies. General Cameroni said, "They aren't ready for me showing up in my Mando onesie," which, like everybody else here in the chat, I was like, "That's a great joke." General Cameroni says, "Oh, people misunderstand. I have the onesie, Halloween costume, really, and I will be wearing it. This is absolutely happening. This is the way. This is the onesie."
I love that. Oh yeah, Laserbolt said, hey, "I'm going to wear my Mando armor for this one." I think it's going to be good. Again, yeah, and you know, I will anticipate lower box office numbers for many reasons, and I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. But C-suite executives, I understand they have to worry about that. We take it to the top of the conversation. I understand that. That's why I'm not trying to take it too personal. That they were like, Star Wars starts again in 2027. And it's hard not to take it from the article there. There we go. We do have some questions, comments. I saw Molly Damon in chat. Maybe we can get an official answer. Did you? You brought up this one from General Cameroni, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It said, "Did everyone see the scoop Alex got earlier about Kem Paul's next book?" I saw the tease of it, but I didn't get to see what actually happened there. Yeah. So if anybody in the chat knows, I would imagine Molly does, but we might have said Grogu 3 times and summoned her, and now she might be gone. As she was joking about in the chat. I don't know what the reveal is, and I would love to know. I'm very, very happy for Alex and Molly to be getting scoops. They absolutely should be doing that.
Yeah, the good scoops. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I always will make sure I put on their videos in the background, whether I can watch it or not. Then I can sit down and watch it when I can, but then I give them a like and watch them. There we go. Oh, Molly Damon revealed it. There we go. Okay. Star Wars Star Pilots Wedge POV book about pilots. Oh,
that is so great.
Did Alex fly out of his chair like a rocket? Just
in universe nonfiction.
Oh, love it. Love it. I love that stuff.
Is so great. I absolutely love that. I feel like the pilot fans have not been getting what they need, and hopefully the film Starfighter will have some starfighting in it. But man, that's so great. I meant to text Alex this weekend because I kept seeing, this is the weirdest thing, I kept seeing posters for Wuthering Heights. And it's like, why does it every time I see a poster for Wuthering Heights, it makes me think happily of Alex? And I realized in the poster, Heathcliff kind of looks like Biggs if he shaved his mustache. That was the weird chain of I see a Wuthering Heights picture and like, makes me happy for Alex Damon, and I don't know why. Because of the Biggs connection.
Then Alex does confirm that he did explode out of his chair and fly to the stars out of excitement. That's exactly that. The in-universe nonfiction is a little subgenre I actually really, really enjoy. I always said my favorite Game of Thrones reading experience is Fire and Blood, which is kind of told in a similar way, which can make adapting it into a series like House of Dragon a great series I love. But those debates of, well, that didn't happen, right? The show changed it. It was like the book literally is about perspectives and shifting and untrustworthy narrators. It's literally a book about maybe a collection of lies or half-truths. So hopefully Chris Kepshaw will avoid that and just get straight to the heart of the pilots. That's good. That's good. Some Star Wars news.
I know he's people have spoken well of his book about the Empire, and I have not had a chance to read that.
Yeah, that one is great. Yeah, that was great. All right, I think that's it for us here. We have done it. We've done it. We've talked about Harrison. We've talked about Mando. We talked about Mando onesies. That's big. That's big. Coming up this week on ForceCenter on Wednesday, we'll release a Star Wars questions episode that took us to a lot of great spots, from opening crawls to yelling at people in bars or finding a common ground over Star Wars with people in bars. That's there on Friday. Looks like we're clear to go live again. Your calls on last Friday's show were great as I held down the fort alone, Joseph, which is not hard to do, except I had just taken my first dose of meds. I don't remember the hour of the show. So you all did great. I do not remember anything I said on the show. And it was a rise. It was an experience that There you go. Yeah, Alex said Rise and Fall. I got Rise in my head. But yeah, so anyways, thank you all. So we'll do that again on Friday. And Databank Brawl re-released on Sundays as well. So that is it. That is it.
Yeah, I want to be there on the live shows when I can, because it's nice for one of us to be able to run away if needed. I will never forget the live show we were doing recently where you left to deal with something, and then Jennifer had to go deal with something too, and it was just like everybody's going down in the basement to check on the weird noise, and and I'm alone.
It's a little like the Wayne's World Garth being left alone. I'm in Delaware. Yeah, it's a little that moment. He's gonna there we go. Hey, we're ForceCenter. If you're new here hanging out, finding us later, you can follow us at ForceCenter Pod on social media sites, Blue Sky in particular. You can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/ForceCenter, get into the Discord and continue the conversation. Or on Patreon, you get the link to call into the shows on Friday. Any level gets you that. You can check out the merch as we said up top. Podcast feeds where Databank Brawl is rebroadcast. And you can follow me at Cat Knapsack or my website, catknapsack.com. Check out my show, The Blathering Live, Cast Really Talk, Pop Rockin' Radio, all the things I do. Joseph, where can they find you in your adventures?
Yeah, you can follow me on the social media at Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out my website, josephscrimshaw.com, for info on the horror film I've been working on. The film also has its own website now called deadmediamovie.com. You can get to our mailing list for the film if you want to be kept up on screenings that are coming up, and hopefully more news there soon.
More news indeed. Great stuff there. All right, that is it. So for Joseph, for Jennifer, for Alex, and Molly Damon, our regular commenter guests here, we'll see you all next time here on Force.